Welcome to another edition of CWL Universe. Make sure to check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/KirbyCWL for more of your favorite content. The description will have the link below, and I hope to see you there. Enjoy the show.
It's our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm too lost. Off the speakers can't even handle me. Give it what I got, nobody's gonna drain my energy. And I will never stop, I'm motivated by enemies. Setting up shop so everybody remember me. And no, I am not going through life regretfully. I'd rather work non-stop, what they call incessantly, than work some more job just to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy. I'm getting with all forgotten souls, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop off your balls. I got squat, I fold, I'm not bought, I'm sold. My stock rocks, it's gold. Hey, knock, knock, she holding shit, talk to close. I ain't stopping though, it's hip-hop, you know. Or is it rock and roll? I'm not dropping down, no, my pocket's grown. You can't stop the show, so get rockin' on. So let me break it all down for you.
We are live with episode 3 of Nemesis, the final show before Exiled. My name is Alexandra Shaw. I am joined by the chairman of the CWL, and chairman, what an absolute fantastic night of action we have queued up for the CWL universe.
We're getting it started here with apparently Tony Samuels. He is not scheduled for a match here today, but we know that he's been having issues as of late with George Caleb. And for me personally, I love it when Genesis people take charge.
Man, Nemesis has been awesome, and despite my shortcomings in my first 2 weeks on this roster, I've wholeheartedly enjoyed it. I've been able to do what I came here to do, and that's to put on show-stopping performances week in and week out. But there's something that's been bothering me. As I've made my debut on Nemesis, you might have noticed that George Caleb has attached himself to my matches, offering me an opportunity to align myself with him for ad revenue or something, and he even scouted me out last week. Well, I'm sick of him acting all high and mighty around me.
High and mighty. Tony, read between the lines. I know that you're putting on show-stopping performances week in and week out. I think everybody here knows that. I know that, and I respect you for it like all hell. I made that apparent 2 weeks ago. However, you're running your mouth in a way that you would only do if you wanted to say something to me, up close and personal. Well, call your shot, Tony. I have time.
George, you've been following me around for the last 2 weeks. First, you come out after my match with FJ and said that the two of us are so similar. Then you come out with me to my match against Dave Graves and scout me out? Speaking of which, please explain to me in full detail what you wrote on your bullshit scouting report and what any of it has to do with you.
You want to know what I think? Well, to be honest, something was missing last week. You had all the pressure of the world on your back last week, and I saw you crumble under it. That wasn't the Tony Samuels of Genesis. That Tony Samuels would have let that pressure bounce off of him. But there is only one thing that holds you back. You are directionless. You have all the tools to be a world champion, but you don't know how to use them. Well, I say that we walk up to Connor Gates, spit in his face, and beat him down with the entire world watching with concern written on their faces. That could be our direction and our opportunity. That is what we could be, Tony. Show stealers.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna return the favor. How about I scout you out in Monaco next week at Exile? Except I'm not gonna hide behind the ropes and watch you have a match. I'm gonna be the one wrestling with you. And when we're done, I'll let you know how I feel about you and I joining forces.
Harsh words exchanged between Tony Samuels and George Calop, and it looks like we've got a match set, Chairman, for Exiled. Calop versus Samuels, two former Genesis standouts going at it.
Like I said, I love it when the Genesis people come here to these shows and then they just completely change the landscape. That's exactly what these two are trying to do right here in Monaco next week.
And speaking of Genesis, here we have Aldo Shaw, one of the more recent Genesis people on the blue brand, with Golden Mask in his corner, going up against a Season 1 original in in Dr. Wrestling Jr. They both have yellow masks, so you can get confused sometimes.
I mean, Golden Mask is accompanying Aldo Shaw to ringside, apparently, and backroom dealings, they stick together, but it is it's a completely dangerous thing to come out here to this kind of match. And what's more curious is that Alex Clark is now with Dr. Wrestling Jr.
The opening match of Nemesis is set for 1 fall. Introducing first, accompanied by Golden Mask, representing Backroom Dealers, weighing 217 pounds. From Melbourne, Australia, Aldo Shaw.
Aldo Shaw making his way down to the ring, and we saw him in the corner, I believe, of Golden Mask last week. Wasn't there to help him when he got hit by an ace crusher by Selena Ems, but you've got to feel that Aldo Shaw is looking to show Backroom Dealings how it's done in this match against Dr. Wrestling Jr. And Aldo Shaw has not had a very long career so far on the blue brand, but you've got to feel it would be a big feather in his cap to beat the former two-time world champion.
He has been an absolute treat to see here on Nemesis. And honestly, like you said it, you hit the nail on the head there, Shaw. If Shaw can beat Dr. Wrestling Jr., that's going to be insanely massive.
And his opponent, representing Kingsman, weighing 150 pounds, from Tijuana, Mexico, Dr. Wrestling Jr.
Dr. Wrestling Jr. making his way down to the ring now. And you've got to feel that Doc, he is off the heels of a fantastic Season 4. Won the world title, won at Endgame, but he wants to make Season 5 even better as part of the Kingsman. And you've got to feel that would start here tonight with a win over Aldo Shaw.
It absolutely could. Dr. Wrestling Jr., he has this tendency to always, start and stop. There has been times where he's been on the top of the mountain, and there's been times where he's at the bottom of the valley. But you never know when that starts. It literally comes out of nowhere. He kind of, honestly, won the Nemesis Championship out of nowhere last year at Merry Mayhem, and then went on to carry that over with beating Yamashita at the same night. It was crazy. But, now we're going to see what he's going to be able to do starting Season 5.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest question is what the Kingsmen are going to be able to do. I mean, we know that now that they have Zach Anderson in their ranks, they've got a lot to work with. But, I've got to ask, is the Kingsmen maybe the next group to take major charge?
I believe that they can. They've shown that they have that chemistry. Alex Clark and Dr. Wrestling Jr., not only fantastic competitors in their own right, they're starting to really gel together as a team. And the fact that they were able to bring Zach Anderson back into the fold, I think that they have insane amounts of potential.
Yeah, and this is sort of a battle between two different factions here on Nemesis. And I'm not saying that we're on the brink of another Nemesis Civil War, but what I'm saying is that I could very well see these two teams coming to blows a lot this season, trying to figure who is the better team for Season 5, as both of them have a big point to prove.
I mean, if you were to ask me, I think the Kingsmen are definitely going to be excited about a possible clash of factions, if you will, because let's be honest, effectively, they kind of killed the Fatal Vices. Where have they been?
I mean, we know that Zach Anderson has been sort of talking to Jake Eagle as of late and trying to convince him of, that he was getting brainwashed in there. But you're right, the Fatal Vices have sort of fizzled out thanks to the Kingsmen. And now maybe they're looking towards backroom dealings next. Aldo Shaw, though, is not going to let that happen without a fight, as him and Dr. Wrestling Jr. have been going back and forth so far in this match. But right now, the only thing going back and forth is probably the eyes rolling around in Aldo Shaw's head after that super kick.
Definitely an effective super kick there. And you can see Golden Mask surveying the situation closely. Normally, we see him stand at a distance, but he knows the danger that Dr. Wrestling Jr. brings to the table.
I mean, you've got to know about your opponent. We see Aldo Shaw just taking a small break there on the outside. Now Irish whipping Dr. Wrestling Jr. Huge high knee there. And again, though, Dr. Wrestling Jr. finally went back. These two have been so back and forth, Chairman. I've got to ask, though. Oh, wait a second. Kip up there from Aldo Shaw. But Dr. Wrestling Jr. baits him in. That's the experience. I was just about to ask, what sort of one thing does either competitor have to pull out that the other person can't counter?
Well, with Dr. Wrestling Jr., you bring veteran expertise here to the table. As we see the Patience moonsault right there connect to Aldo Shaw. Aldo Shaw just needs to stay ahead of the game as we go into the pinfall. 1, 2, but not quite enough yet, as Aldo Shaw proving how resilient he can be. Honestly, Aldo Shaw just needs to bring something that Dr. Wrestling Jr. hasn't seen, which honestly, with the experience from Dr. Wrestling Jr., it may not be much.
Yeah, that's where it's very difficult. I was just going to say that the experience of Dr. Wrestling Jr. is his biggest asset, but right now, Dr. Wrestling Jr. just ate that Michinoku driver like it's nothing, and now Aldo Shaw picks him up, pump handle X Factor.
Now look at this. Aldo Shaw bringing Dr. Wrestling Jr. up to his feet, sending him to the corner where Golden Mask is at, and that's honestly the best position that you can be. Here you can get a lot of advice from Golden Mask on how to take down Dr. Wrestling Jr. As look at this, Aldo Shaw with ease just lifting up Dr. Wrestling Jr. in the corner.
Showcasing the Doctor at his own personal gallows. Aldo Shaw now going into the cover thinking that's enough to stop the good Doctor, but he's still got a bit of fight left in him. That heart is still beating, and Aldo Shaw's going to need to go back to the drawing board as he picks up Dr. Wrestling Jr. Oh wait, was going for it there. Dr. Wrestling Jr. able to evade him with the arm drag, and now got him up on the shoulders. An apple a day, keeping the Hangman away into the cover. Oh, but Golden Mask right there paying dividends for Aldo Shaw.
Golden Mask, absolutely. This is why the backroom dealings are always with each other when they have their matches. They always try and help each other get the victories. And now, if Aldo Shaw is to win this match, it will forever be tainted for me.
Maybe tainted for you, but I think when it comes to the record books, a win is a win for the backroom dealings. And a win is what Aldo might be about to get with the Aussie necktie firmly wrapped around Dr. Wrestling Jr. Nowhere for Doc to go, but he's able to turn Aldo onto his stomach and escape the hold.
And look at this, Dr. Wrestling Jr. trying to go back on the attack, but Aldo Shaw was ready, and it looks like Dr. Wrestling Jr. had a counter of his own in mind. And these two are just going counter for counter, trying to get the better of each other as the stunner, using the ropes for extra leverage. Aldo Shaw is in full control of this matchup right now.
You say leverage, I think that was to knock the wind out of the Doctor, as now Aldo firing on all cylinders here, upping the punishment, upping the pain. Aldo Shaw's got himself back in the game, and now Dr. Wrestling Jr. fights one underneath with the jawbreaker kick to the gut, gets blocked by Aldo Shaw. Backdrop suplex, no, atomic drop.
Now look at this, Aldo Shaw setting up Dr. Wrestling Jr. with that special neck breaker with just a little bit of extra force with that arm wrap as he is able to go into the pinfall. Is this going to be it for Dr. Wrestling Jr.?
The Shaw's shank gets backroom dealing some redemption, and Aldo Shaw picks up a big win. And you've got to feel, though, you have to chalk up the major assist to Golden Mask on the outside. saving him from a surefire loss after the apple a day.
The winner of the match, Aldo Shaw.
Aldo Shaw with a big win for Backroom Dealings. And now you've got to wonder what is next, as they know Sheila is challenging for that Nemesis Women's title in the at the pay-per-view, but you've got to feel Aldo Shaw is pretty close to a title shot himself. And speaking, we were talking earlier about Zach Anderson and his history with the Fatal Vices. Here he is now, and you've got to feel he's got some more words on his mind.
The Fatal Vices, the group that started off looking like they could be the next top faction of CWL. The next fabulous furious freaks. A leader who claimed he was chosen by God. A leader who fought Grook Attack for the Nemesis Championship. When he failed, what did he do? Did he lead this group to the promised land and live up to their potential? Did he come back and avenge his loss and become the Nemesis champion? Or did he leave his group to dry after he realised he was a fraud and he could never lead a group of wrestlers better than himself? The latter. And yet they still follow him as if he is some type of god. And they are the blind sheep of his sadistic cult. I was one of them, but I broke free. And I will no longer be held down by Ken Warlock's fraudulent claims of glory and fame if you follow him. And I'll try to save at least one more of his followers, that being Jake Eagle. Jake, why didn't you come down here and talk to me?
The Fatal Vices are not a cult, and we never have been. We are a brotherhood, and that is it, and you know that. Just because you betrayed the brotherhood doesn't mean you can just come out here and disrespect the people that made you. We made you. You come out here and constantly disrespect me and everyone that I stand with in this country, and you expect me to leave the people who stood by me? I am not you. I am not you. I don't abandon people who genuinely care about me. You actually believe the bullshit you are spewing out of your talk hole. You're ridiculous. You know what? I can't wait to teach you a lesson in the middle of this ring next week. There will be no running from your fate this time, Zach, as the sin of greed will overtake you and will defeat you.
Well, more of a war of words yet. I gotta be honest, I don't know if I necessarily agree with Jake Eagle saying that Fatal Vices was never a cult. They seemed kind of cult to me.
No comment.
Well, regardless, we move on. And Cassidy Clark, someone who has been having issues with Hannah Starr as of late, who's very familiar with Zach Anderson and everything going on there. But Hannah Starr has chosen Quinn Edwards as Cassidy Clark's opponent. And Chairman, we know all about the history between those two.
The following match is set for one fall. Introducing first, representing Kingsman, weighing 155 pounds, from London, England, Cassidy Clark.
Cassidy Clark making her way down to the ring, and you've got to be honest with Cassidy Clark here. She's sort of in this weird spot right now where she is forced to fight Hannah Starr, who she doesn't necessarily have a super close relationship with, but this is not the first time someone has come up to Nemesis and tried to make a name for themselves by attacking Cassidy Clark, and at some point you've got to feel, Chairman, Cassidy Clark might just snap and go ballistic on one of these young up-and-comers. I know you want Genesis people to take the initiative, but there's eventually a point where you poke the bear and the bear bites your head off.
What I find most impressive, honestly, is the fact that so many people go after Cassidy Clark when she's only been here for a year, Alex. A year. That just goes to show how amazing she is and how talented she can be, because she is seen as a threat from literally everybody. After a year!
I don't care how long you've been wrestling, if you're able to main event the biggest wrestling show of the year, you deserve to be taken as a threat. But tonight, though, Cassidy Clark goes up against someone who has had her number. The woman who beat her for the Nemesis Women's title months ago, Quinn Edwards.
And her opponent, accompanied by Hannah Starr, weighing 200 pounds, from Los Angeles, California, Quinn Edwards.
Quinn Edwards now being chosen by Hannah Starr, and you know, we mentioned Quinn Edwards won that Nemesis Women's title from Cassidy Clark, but then she lost to Jada King, and then Quinn Edwards kind of just sort of faded into the shuffle, got lost in the background, and you've got to feel that she wants that spotlight that Cassidy Clark currently occupies as this big threat on Nemesis. She wants to be in that spotlight where she is seen as the biggest threat on the brand, and she wants that spotlight by beating Cassidy Clark once again here tonight.
It wouldn't surprise me if she comes in here with a different game plan. As you mentioned, she is the one that defeated Cassidy Clark for that Nemesis Women's Championship, and maybe that's exactly why Hannah Starr chose her to be in this match. She knows that Quinn Edwards has beaten Cassidy Clark before, and maybe she's hoping to do it again.
I mean, it's a good shout. You know, if you see your opponent throwing rock, you always pick paper. But wrestling isn't rock, paper, scissors, Chairman. There's so much more to it than that. And on any given night, anyone can beat anyone in that professional wrestling ring. Could this be the night that Cassidy Clark beats Quinn Edwards 1, 2, 3? We'll have to find out. As this one gets underway, both women going for each other right off the bat. Neither one of them able to get a clean hit on the other. Collar elbow type. Quinn Edwards gets the waist lock here, trying to take Cassidy Clark to the ground. Cassidy, though, gets the back switch, gets behind Quinn Edwards, and this is where Cassidy Clark can get dangerous as she wrestles Quinn Edwards to the ground. And Chairman, you've got to feel this is going perfectly the plan for Cassidy Clark right now.
Absolutely, and honestly, my biggest question now here is, will Hannah Starr be a factor in this matchup like we saw Golden Mask in the previous matchup?
I would definitely bet on it, if I'm being honest. I mean, we know that Hannah Starr would love a chance to embarrass Cassidy Clark like she did when she came to Nemesis and beat her down. But I don't know if Cassidy Clark is going to let that happen so easily.
Oh, look at that. A beautiful German suplex from Cassidy Clark. And it's always a treat when we see two former champions go at it, because it just goes to show how much talent is in this company. Oh, hold on, the pinfall, but hold on. Oh, Quinn Edwards able to kick out. It's always amazing to see how much your game has evolved since you were a champion, and we haven't seen this specific matchup for quite a while.
Yeah, and I think maybe the last time we would have seen it would have been, the Supremacy Cup between these two, where they went one-on-one, and we see Quinn Edwards taking a bit of a breather on the outside, and Cassidy Clark giving chase. No way, get ready, breathing rope, Saito suplex on the outside.
That's kind of what you have to do right there as we hear the referee begin to count up to the count of 2. They have until the count of 20 to get back into the ring. But honestly, if I'm Cassidy Clark, I want to get back in this. You have the advantage after that suplex to the outside.
Absolutely, and Quinn Edwards went for the elbow strike. Oh, these two just going back and forth. These two know each other so well. You've got to feel there's so much tape that they've watched on each other over the past year. And Cassidy Clark right now taking advantage of that spinning back fist, not able to drop Edwards, instead rolls her back into the ring.
Yes, now this does get back into the ring. As you mentioned, it looks like Cassidy Clark was going to go for something, but Quinn Edwards able to grab the arm and slams Cassidy down to the mat.
It's now, kitchen sink though by Cassidy. TNA kick to follow up. Kick to the leg, and I've got to be honest, Chairman, Cassidy Clark has been firing on all cylinders so far. What does Quinn Edwards really need to do to get out of the starting gate, it feels like?
I honestly don't know with how much these two know each other. Oh, hold on. Maybe that's exactly what she needed. Right there. The Devil's Lullaby. But instead of going for the pinfall, she knows that Quinn Edwards will not go down that easy, and she's going to continue the assault.
Yeah, it's now got that chin lock locked in, and now going into the cover is Cassidy Clark. And that's it to put down Quinn Edwards. I think the Devil's Lullaby put Quinn Edwards to sleep. And just that neck crank there was just more so a message to Hannah Starr. That one move can put you down like that.
The winner of the match, Cassidy Clark.
Cassidy Clark celebrating her win here tonight. And you've got to feel that feels good to pick up that win here so early in the season. And it looks like Hannah Starr is looking to join her in the ring. Well, it looks like the gauntlet has been thrown down. Hannah Starr, Cassidy Clark, two women colliding at Exiled. And speaking of Exiled, I hear it on good authority that Dave Graves will be challenging for the YouTube Championship at Exiled versus Pistolero. But first, he has to go up against Stargym LLC's own Jay Scott. And I remember the last time someone was going for a Starjammer title and they had to face Jay Scott beforehand. It didn't end well for Connor Gates then. How will it end for Dave Graves here tonight?
It's going to be interesting considering the history of these two men, but you are correct. Dave Graves is challenging for that YouTube Championship.
The following match is set for 1 fall. Introducing first, representing Starjammer LLC, weighing 221 pounds, from West Hampton's Long Island, Jay Scott.
Now, I've been looking into these two just a bit. I hear they've been having this sort of worldwide rivalry since before either of them got to CWL. And a little bit of interesting piece of trivia, Chairman. These two have faced off 4 times in the past. Jay Scott has only won once. You've got to feel for Jay Scott, from what I've seen and from what I've heard of him, this is as determined as he's ever been to win a match. And he'd love to make the work start evening that score between the two.
The biggest question here, or rather the biggest difference, is that record is outside of the CWL. This is Jay Scott's home when it comes to the experience between that entire group that came together between Jay Scott, Carl Stone, and Dave Graves. This has the opportunity to really be Jay's chance to cement himself as the one that's going to be better here in the CWL. Or Dave Graves could be making a name for himself, quite literally, by defeating a former tag team champion here tonight.
And not just by doing that, he then has a chance to further cement that name at Exile versus Pistolero. But what does it mean for Dave Graves should that man pick up the win here tonight, just 7 days before the biggest match in Dave Graves' career?
And his opponent, weighing 215 pounds, from St. Paul, Minnesota, Dave Graves.
Dave Graves makes his way down to the ring, the bread man himself looking to get another win over Jay Scott. And yeah, you mentioned that those wins win in CWL, and I get that. But at the same time, you've got to feel that does give the mental advantage to Dave Graves. Knowing, even if it wasn't on this turf, even if it was under this setting, that you at least know you can beat someone. That's got to do a lot for your mental game going into a match.
Absolutely, especially when it's, your first championship opportunity here in the CWL. This is Dave Graves' first shot at a championship here on Nemesis. He did challenge for the King of Genesis title in his debut, but again, that was when he was brand new. He had no experience. Maybe the nerves got to him, but this is the biggest opportunity of his career next week.
Absolutely, but he can't afford to overlook Jay Scott in the process. We saw that with Connor Gates just before Endgame, and Jay Scott scored the upset. Could we see the same here tonight? It looks like Jay Scott's calm, cool, and collected, whereas Dave Graves is all focused. This one is underway. Jay Scott's off to the races, immediately targeting that knee of Dave Graves.
And that just comes with the familiarity between both of these competitors. They know each other so well. This is not going to be a feeling out process at all. They're just going to be going balls to the wall right out the gate.
Absolutely. As Dave Graves now, although he's back in control, you've got to feel his knee going to be a little wobbly. You do not get run into full force by a man who's, $180. And you're just fine. Adrenaline just carries you. No, his knee is going to be a target now for Jay Scott all match. And Dave Graves knows that. He's going to have to switch up his offense just a little bit as we see him pivot on that knee and hit with the back elbow.
And you can see here now Dave Graves in control so far as he's trying to punch Jay Scott out of the apron, but Jay Scott able to catch it. And now, look at this, just brutalizing with those punches to the gut.
Like I said, you said that next Sunday is Dave Graves' most important match. I wouldn't be surprised if we could say the same about this match for Jay Scott right now, as he has never been more focused, he has never been more determined to win a match than he is here tonight than against Dave Graves. As right now, though, he misses the lariat. Dave Graves crosses him up. Huge line there from Dave Graves.
Now look at this. Jay Scott able to drive Dave Graves into the corner with that clothesline, and now just driving both of the feet right into the gut. Jay Scott, I'm trying not to act surprised, but I'm actually surprised he's been in full control of this matchup for quite a while now.
I mean, normally we see Jay Scott, he's a very cocky, confident competitor, but like I said, tonight he's all business. He didn't even take any meetings. I tried to talk to him to exchange notes and stuff for vindication that we're doing commentary for, but he has been unreachable outside of close people within Starjam LLC. He has been fully focused on this match like never before, but he cannot afford to let it all get to his head, all go to waste, and tap out here as we see him powering out of that Rings of Saturn. And Chairman, I've got to ask, what is his game plan? We see him target the knee, but is that going to be enough to keep down Dave Graves?
After a while, all the damage keeps adding up. But as I say that, the victory road out of nowhere from Jay Scott. That may have actually done it too. And look at that, with one victory road, Jay Scott manages to put away Dave Graves.
And I think it was all a matter of importance for this match. Dave Graves came into this one thinking it'll be a warm-up for next Sunday. Jay Scott came into this one ready to win, and we saw that here tonight. He put away Dave Graves decisively, and now you've got to wonder, how is Dave Graves going to be feeling going into his YouTube title match at Exile?
The winner of the match, Jay Scott.
As Jay Scott celebrates his victory. I've got to ask, Chairman, if Jay Scott, with this victory, if Dave Graves somehow takes the title off Pistolero, which, based on tonight, is going to be even more of an upset than it already would have been, could we see them run this match back for the championship eventually?
That very well could be a possibility. as right now we are seeing Johnny Gemini make his way to the ring. We know that him and Alexander have been at each other's throats still, even after Endgame. But now we're going to hear from Gemini himself.
So, it comes down to this. Tora Khan, a man I once considered a friend. Samuel Black, an opponent that cost me a championship. And Alexander, a wrestler that has used me as a stepping stone, are all united in some bizarre plan to bring back Ken Warlock and dominate Nemesis. Well, regardless of whether or not I believe their little summoning story, I know that when three people like them get together, it's never a good thing. So Alexander, I will take another shot at you. In fact, I will take you all on at Exiled, but I won't be alone. You see, I know some people who agree with me that you and your pack of miscreants are nothing but trouble for the CWL. In fact, plenty of people here have had experiences with you in the past and are eager to get another shot. One of those people is Drake Harrison, and he will be one of my partners in our match. As for the other partner, well, you will just have to wait and see. So Alexander, Samuel Black, and Tora Khan, at Exiled, expect the unexpected.
Well, Johnny Gemini is given his declaration of war, Chairman, and we have a 6-man tag match on tap for Exiled, but there's that little bit of a question that has to be in everyone's mind. Who else is on Team Gemini? We know Drake Harrison's going to be there, but who else?
Honestly, I don't know. We know that people are still moving brands. We could have somebody from Genesis. We could have somebody from Vindication. Hell, it could be somebody from this brand. The floor is wide open.
Yes, but right now, speak wide open, the tag division has just been bursting open with all these new teams for the women lately. And we're seeing it right now with Jesse Anderson and Callie Kaplan going up against the team of Jada King and the Pinball Witch. Now, Jada King and Pinball Witch might be seem like an oddball pairing, but the real question of this match is, can Callie and Jesse get on the same page?
The following tag team match is set for 1 fall. Introducing first, representing Kingsman, weighing 146 pounds, from Norwich, England, Callie Kaplan.
Callie Kaplan, the time bender, and one of the members of the Kingsmen making her way down to the ring. And normally we see her, if she is tagging with Cassidy Clark. We know that they were a team in the Illustrious Invitational, but looks like she's trying to mend some burned bridges with Jesse Anderson here by forming this team together.
And honestly, I'm gonna be completely upfront here with you, Alex. I don't trust this partnership. Jesse Anderson has been unhinged, and that's the nicest way that I can put it. The fact that Callie Kaplan is so naive to trust Jesse like this, I really feel it's gonna come back to bite her.
I mean, it very well could, but at that very same time, I mean, you know, we know that Zach Anderson was seemingly under some sort of spell. Maybe it was the same issue of Jesse Anderson. This is very much so a situation, I'm going to be honest, I don't understand. I'm just a simple commentator, but it's going to be very interesting to see how it unfolds.
And her tag team partner, weighing in at 200 pounds, from London, England, Jesse Anderson.
Jesse Anderson making her way down to the ring now. And like you said, I don't think if anyone, not even Callie, knows if she can trust her. But if they want to pick up a win here tonight and then a win against the Hunt at Exiled, they're going to need to put any fears aside and be able to work with Jesse Anderson.
Absolutely. And again, I could be wrong. Maybe here tonight against Jada King and the Pinball Witch, they could completely be, they could have that immediate chemistry, if you will. But we're going to have to wait and see. The match is just a few short moments away.
And their opponents. First, weighing in at 185 pounds, from Harlem, New York, the Queen of Harlem, Jada King.
Jada King, former Nemesis Women's Champion, lost that title in the main event of Endgame 4. And now, looking to get some momentum back under her wheels with a big win here tonight over Jesse Anderson and Callie Kaplan in tag team action. Although, we know she necessarily, this isn't the first time we've seen her on CWL since Endgame. We know she attacked Marcelo Reyes earlier on the first episode of Nemesis. You've got to wonder if Jada King is going to be able to work well with others.
And her tag team partner, weighing 139 pounds, from Tucson, Arizona, Pinball Witch.
Pinball Witch making her way down to the ring. Always someone looking to make a name for herself. And we've seen lots of people go on these losing streaks and just needs that one big win, Chairman, to really put themselves back on the right track. Could we see the same for Pinball Witch? Should she just get that one big win?
I honestly think it's possible. Pinball Witch has always been on the cusp of greatness. And like I mentioned last time in her match against Liza Horror, she just needs to put it together. Here today, she is tagging with a former Nemesis Women's Champion, Jada King. Someone that she actually has a bit of a past with. They faced off once before in last season. So maybe now teaming up with her, she can learn a thing or two, you know. Jada King had a great reign, all things considered.
Yeah, as now immediately sends Callie Kaplan flying into the turnbuckles with that overhead belly to belly. Jada King, not maybe as built as someone like Sheila or Vox, but she has a lot of power behind her. As now, though, Callie Kaplan using her superior speed to get the upper hand. And I've got to ask, Chairman, who do you think is going to have more team chemistry? The tenuous relationship of Callie Kaplan and Jesse Anderson, or the seemingly mismatched team of Jada King and Pinball Witch?
100% it's going to be a toss-up. There's no way to really gauge what kind of chemistry these two have for each other. And these are two very, very unique circumstances. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know why Tommy Hazard put this match together or even how he put this match together.
I mean, Tommy Hazard is a very interesting individual, and I decided to stop questioning him a long time ago, but he has given us four of the best that Nemesis have to offer in one ring, so that's got to count for something. As Pinball Witch gets tagged in, and now with the Jawbreaker hopes to bring the fight to Callie Kaplan.
And now look at this, Pinball Witch going right into the cross-arm breaker here, but Callie Kaplan able to reverse the momentum a little bit, and now she has to use her left hand in order to break up this submission attempt.
It's now kick to the gut, went for the rolling elbow, not able to get it, and now the famous from Callie Kaplan Callie has been a one-woman wrecking crew, almost like she doesn't want to tag in Jessie Anderson in this match, as now she's got her up, got her down. The MKM locked in, and will it get a tap out from Pinball Witch? No, Pinball fighting her way out of it.
The modified Kaplan mutilation, but it was not enough. As look at this, Pinball Witch able to get right back into it, not only with a forearm, but now sending Kaplan into the corner. Jada King, very smart to use her left hand there to distract Callie Kaplan right before getting the pinfall, as now we see the tag team work from both of these women. I honestly did not expect that at all between these two.
I mean, hey, though, Callie Kaplan still just fighting on, and now Callie Kaplan maybe looking to put this one away here and now. Neon Sunset lands it on Jada King. Is she about to pin the former women's champion? No, Jada King still just a little too fresh.
That's exactly why she is a former Nemesis Women's Champion. That championship has one of the most amazing lineages, and the fact that Jada King was able to capture that in her first season just goes to show exactly how amazing she is as a competitor.
As now the double arm trap belly to belly gets Jada King down, and now looking to make the tag finally to Jessie Anderson. Notice though, no flashy tag team maneuvers, just slap my hand and get in the match, says Callie Kaplan, as now Jada King tags in Pinball Witch, not wanting anything seemingly to do with Jessie Anderson.
Oh, Pinball Witch able to get a hold before Jessie can, and now look at this, the athleticism from Pinball Witch, as she's now using the little bit of leverage for the 450 splash. Pinball Witch is just amazing with those 450 splashes. No matter if she's standing, if she's using the ropes, she's going to hit it from any angle, as now she's just twisting the arm back of Jessie Anderson. This could force a tap out here.
Oh, Jessie Anderson getting out of it, able to escape, and now sending her into the corner with Callie Kaplan. Goes for the knee, not anyone home though. And now tilt-a-whirl arm drag. Let's see, continue to go back and forth. Another handspring back elbow. I'm looking for it one more time for the bottom rope. Another hugely impressive 450 splash. And now looking for that spellbind submission hold. Got it locked in. And now the spellbind is bending the spine of Jessie Anderson. But Jessie Anderson turns into a pin, and Pinball Witch forced to break out of it.
But she's able to flip off Jessie Anderson right there. And now she's going into the pinfall. This could be it. The Pinball Witch could have just secured a victory, but only a 2 count.
There we are. See it. But now Callie Kaplan forced to leave the ring. Jada King staring her down as Pinball Witch sets up for the tilt. And the tilt may have just tilted this all in the favor of Pinball Witch as she pins Jessie Anderson for the 3 count.
The winners of the match, the team of the Queen of Heart, Jada King, Pinball Witch.
As now these two celebrate victory. We talked about Pinball Witch needing just one big win to get things back on track, and that could very well be doing as everyone heads to the back. Jada King taking one more moment to gloat to the fans. Wait a second! Marcelo Reyes coming in from behind, getting his sum against Jada King after what happened in her debut.
A little bit of payback here from Marcela Reyes. And you notice this. It wasn't as big of an attack that Jada King did to Marcela earlier. That was just a warning shot from Marcela, if you were to ask me.
Yeah, just sort of getting her own back without causing too much of a problem. But speaking of causing problems, Jacob Nitro has been a problem causer for backroom dealings for a very long time now. And as he goes up against Cairo, he has to have in the back of his mind that match he has set up with Aldo Shaw at Exiled.
Absolutely. And, Jacob Nitro, as you mentioned, has been a thorn at backroom dealing side, and it's not over yet. They got the victory at Endgame, but now he's got Cairo here today, and next week, he's got Aldo Shaw.
The following match is set for one fall. Introducing first, representing Anarchy Inc., weighing 218 pounds, from Rahway, New Jersey, Jacob Nitro.
Jacob Nitro making his way down to the ring now. And I've got to say, Chairman, he is someone who finally, I think, broke through that proverbial ceiling that was holding him down in Season 2 and Season 3 last season. With the formation of Anarchy Inc. and the win of the tag team titles, it seems like Jacob Nitro has never been better.
Absolutely. Jacob Nitro has been on another level as of late, especially at Endgame. He was eliminated in that match, but a win for Anarchy Inc. is a win for everybody, and that does go on Jacob Nitro's record. Maybe this is going to be the season where he finally wins that singles championship, and that with Brian and possibly FJA in his corner, I think that this could be the year. I legitimately think that this could be the year.
I mean, he's been chasing the YouTube title since he debuted, and now it's here on Nemesis. But first he has to finish his unfinished business.
And his opponent, accompanied by Eli Evans, representing Backroom Dealings, weighing 229 pounds, from New York City, Cairo.
Here comes Cairo, someone similarly to Jacob Nitro, coming off of a very big win at Endgame against Chris Edwards. And what was originally meant to just punish Chris Edwards has now banished him from CWL, as he has chosen to leave his CWL contract to avoid punishment.
I think the confidence is still there, though. I think the confidence is still going to be there, though. And that ultimately, that's what you need as a competitor, that confidence.
Well, Cairo is nothing if he is not confident, especially when he's got his boys at his back. Eli Evans probably going to play some form of role, you have to feel, in this match, as we saw Golden Mask did earlier on. As this one gets underway, Jacob Nitro, it feels like he's dealt with every member of Backroom Dealings except for Cairo. This is the first person, the last person sort of on that checklist for him.
Absolutely, and that checklist is starting to slim down for sure. But I think, if you were to ask me, Eli Evans is going to be the big question mark in this matchup.
Yeah, and that's what we've seen a lot from Backroom Dealings as of late, is them going out there, being at ringside, and causing trouble for their opponents. We've seen it multiple times, and we've seen it even tonight, but you have to feel after this long of dealing with that Jacob Nitro is accustomed and ready for anything.
And that's, honestly, when you're a competitor here in the CWL, you need to be prepared for anything. We've literally had people jump through time and space, Alex. Literally. So, you always have to be ready for anything.
Yeah, and Jacob Nitro... Okay, I don't think Jacob Nitro's ready for Cairo to open up a portal and send them on a mystical, magical adventure. But what he is ready for is Cairo's explosivity and his power. And Jacob Nitro's done a great job of that by neutralizing it and keeping him in that headlock and on the ground. But now that Cairo's up on his feet, he has a chance to really make a big splash here. But the only thing splashing is himself on the ground after that blocked drop kick from Jacob Nitro as he now tries to drag him over to the corner, but Cairo is having none of it.
And look at this. He's trying to chop Jacob Nitro down to size now. A beautiful Northern Lights suplex there. Not going for the pinfall attempt, however. As now Cairo is just starting to stomp out Jacob Nitro. Now going for the pinfall. Is that going to be enough? No, the former tag team champion kicks out.
Yeah, and Cairo, you have to feel he came up with maybe the most buzz about him from Backroom Dealings. I remember, not really knowing too much, but I knew Cairo was maybe the biggest star in that group. But since then, some have said that Cairo has fallen behind his teammates a bit. You've got to wonder if maybe a win here tonight could be the first step in reclaiming that top spot within Backroom Dealings.
It absolutely could. And maybe it's not even about spots for Backroom Dealings. Maybe it's all them together, doing their thing. Because I don't think they really see each other as one's better than the other. They are all equally as good being the Backroom Dealings.
It's now Eli Efed's trying to distract the referee, trying to get in the head of Jacob Nitro, but Jacob Nitro staying fully focused, but Cairo able to block the burnout, connect with the forearm, although Jacob Nitro not letting him capitalize, goes for Enziguri, gets blocked, Chop sends Jacob Nitro to the ground, and now Cairo looking to put Jacob Nitro away with the dealer's knee, and that dealer may have just given him the perfect hand, but that hand did not come down for a 3 count.
And that is one thing that the Backroom Dealings know about Jacob Nitro. That dude is as resilient as ever. But now with the chair being slid into the ring, I don't know how much that's going to change the complex of this matchup.
Then we see the Sling Blade nearly putting him on the chair. The referee needs to do something about that, and do something about that soon, as is introduced from Eli Evans. As now, though, Jacob Nitro and Cairo fighting very precariously. Got the wind up and the kick from Cairo. The moveset that won him the match against Chris Edwards. It's enough. No, it's not enough.
To any normal man, that would have been enough. But Jacob Nitro is no ordinary man.
That's now, though, the referee having to slide the chair out. Cairo, though, not too bothered as the Black Bull stomps in the head of the Firestarter, Jacob Nitro. And that should be it. But no, Jacob Nitro somehow defiantly gets the shoulder up.
Look at the frustration in Cairo. Honestly, I would be feeling the same if some of my best shots have connected and connected as flush as they have, and Jacob Nitro still keeps standing.
He won't say die. And that's what's so admirable about Jacob Nitro. Love him or hate him, this man is willing to do whatever it takes to pick up the win as he gets busted open by Cairo. The big knee to the head, followed up. Jacob Nitro doesn't care, fighting through the pain, fighting through the blood, coursing down his face. What will keep this man down?
Cairo is doing everything that he can, and you can see the scars of war already. As you mentioned, Jacob Nitro has been busted open. We don't see that often here in the CWL, and Cairo is just continuing to put down the damage.
And here's the thing. I think blood doesn't necessarily affect Jacob Nitro all that well. I saw him in a match at Kawasaki Stadium, 45,000 people, blood gushing out of his head, and he still wrestled for another 10 minutes. But he might not be able to wrestle any longer as Cairo goes into the cover, but it's not enough.
At this point, Cairo has got to be questioning himself. How much more do I have to do? Is it going to be just one more Black Bull? Is it going to be more? Does Eli Evans need to get involved in this matchup? I honestly don't know.
As if a super kick connects, that might be all he can do. As Jacob Nitro hooks the outside leg, but it's still not enough. Cairo battles to his feet. Kick to the gut of Jacob Nitro. Looking for a standing sliced bread. Now going up top, looking for that finishing touch to put out the Firestarter. Vogue Splash from Cairo, and he's still not had enough, but he got too greedy and gave Jacob Nitro a chance to sweep that leg. And now Nitro on nothing but adrenaline, giving himself a Nitro boost to put Cairo away. 1, 2, 3. Jacob Nitro with the win.
the winner of the match, Jacob Nitro.
Jacob Nitro, a crimson mask, but a mask of victory. As he has put away Cairo, he has put down every member of Backroom Dealings on his hit list. The only man remaining is Aldo Shaw at Exiled.
We've got one more match here to go, Alex, but hold on 1 second. That's BMS's music right there. The bells have begun to toll. Maybe perhaps he's got a few words to say ahead of his matchup against Connor Gates at Exiled for that Nemesis Championship.
Very possibly he could. I mean, he is fresh off of retiring Large Jonathan Spartacus. He has definitely earned a shot at that championship. But will he end the reign of Connor Gates just as quickly as it began? That is the big question on everyone's mind. And maybe he's looking to give a couple answers here tonight.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting development. I did not expect BMS to be the one to just upright challenge Connor Gates, but BMS is calling a shot. He thinks that he's going to become the Nemesis champion at Exiled, and he has honestly been making this thing with Connor Gates very personal, and we're just 1 week away from the showdown.
1 week away from the showdown, 1 week away from the throwdown. BMS, though, he's a man of many words, Chairman. And I would not be surprised if he had a couple more words to say towards Connor Gates here. Just 7 days before this clash of two competitors who, frankly, have had beef ever since Season 2. Now, finally getting a chance to go one-on-one.
Speaking of which, by the way, having previous beef, have you heard anything about this Asphodel model business? Like they're hiring a security guard or something? I actually applied for that. Did you?
No, I'm pretty small. And I... Well, it appears BMS has found his new member of Asphodel. Wait a second, Connor Gates is down here. He has not forgotten the attack that BMS launched on him. As these two begin to brawl in this ring, this is a feud that's got very personal treatment between these two. And BMS hightailing it out of here.
I mean, I would too if the Nemesis champion was after me the way that he was right now. Connor Gates is very proud to be the champion. He fought through hell and literally everything to regain that championship, and he is not going to let anybody take that from him.
Absolutely not. As BMS makes his way back, Connor Gates getting him to hightail it out of here. But now we go to our main event, a rematch. All the way back from Selena's Vindication days versus Belle Florette. Back then, Selena has held the Vindication Women's title. Now she holds the Nemesis Women's title. Will the result be any different? Can Belle Florette go 2-0 against Selena Adams and earn herself a future Nemesis Women's title match.
The main event of Nemesis is set for one fall. Introducing first, weighing 140 pounds, from Green Bay, Wisconsin, your Nemesis Women's Champion, Selena Adams.
Selena Adams making her way down to the ring. She's been itching for a fight, and especially after what she has been going through since the start of the season, getting attacked by Sheila, taking out Golden Mask last week. Now, she wants a moment. She's seeing this almost as a vacation, Chairman. Making a moment to not worry about backroom dealings, not worry about the women's title match 7 days from now, but instead focusing on her opponent in front of her, Belle Fleurette.
And her opponent, representing the Hunt, weighing 186 pounds, from Bordeaux, France, Belle Fleurette.
Belle Fleurette making her way down to the ring representing the Hunt. And this isn't the first time she's received an opportunity against the champion. Like I said, beating Selena Adams in the lead up to Supremacy all those months ago. But now, she has a completely different Selena Adams standing in front of her. And I mean that quite literally. Selena Adams doesn't even remember the match that happened between those two.
She doesn't remember, but she knows exactly what happened just a few months ago when Belle Fleurette actually attacked Faith De La Rosa to get a match at Supremacy this year, or I should say last season. Which, you know, it didn't sit right with Selena, and that's why she's going to be taking the fight here to Belle tonight.
Yeah, as we see the shots to the gut from Adams to Belle Fleurette. And you've got to feel Selena Adams definitely... Normally we say that Belle Fleurette is the technician in any given match, but Selena Adams right now got that wrist lock locked in, not giving Belle any chance to start this match the way she normally does, which is utilizing her MMA background. I think Belle's going to need to rely more on strikes, or maybe she can out-grapple Selena Adams as she transitions into the Fujiwara armbar. Selena able to roll out of it.
But Selena, they're able to push her away, as now look at this. She's trying to use the power game, but Belle Fleurette able to still get out of everything so far. Oh, but she gets caught right there, now right into the pinfall, but no.
Just such a sequence. These two able to dodge each other so well, and now Belle Fleurette got the ankle lock locked in. Selena Adams nowhere to go, but able to turn onto her back and kick her way out of it. And now sending Belle Fleurette into the corner here. Big splash gets dodged by Belle. And now Belle up and into the Hurricane Rana. And like we said, these two are going to be very even in terms of the ground game and grappling. We know Belle can rely on her striking, but what does Selena have to do to get the advantage? Perhaps it's the high flying.
Absolutely, I think it's going to be the high flying. We don't see her fly too often, but ever since her accident, ever since she came back from it, Selena has just been on a whole other level when it comes to her high flying. She's honestly thrown caution to the wind.
I mean, we know when she was eventually trying to come here, Chairman, there was dispute of if CWL should sign her because of how dangerous and how reckless she could be. It seems she has tapped into some of that as of late. But now, Belle Fleurette is doing a good job of working down Selena Adams, and we've seen her targeting the arm throughout this match. That is going to be a good way to make it so she can't lock into Selena's sunset as well.
And now we see Selena here trying to drag Belle over to the ropes, but Belle able to break a hold there with some elbows to the midsection, and now Selena able to connect with that elbow, and we're starting to see the champion fight back here.
Oh, breaks the Vic's lock, does Belle. Sends Selena Irish whip off the ropes here. And now Selena rolls through. Drop toe hold, drops Belle. These two have been so evenly matched. Choke breaker from Selena Adams, though. Just killing her with that choke breaker.
Oh, I think she's going to go for it again.
Two straight. Selena Adams You want to talk about being reckless. She's throwing caution to the wind in regards to Belle's safety. But now Belle connected with that running knee strike. Only a 1 count.
These two are just going a million miles per hour. Oh!
The ace crusher from Selena Adams drops Belle Florent. Is that enough? No.
We saw that connect to Golden Mask last week, but now it connects to Belle Florent. And now the champion is looking to put this matchup away. She is going for the Selena Sunset.
Got it locked in, center of the ring. Nowhere for Belle Florent to go here. And Selena just wrenching back as much as she can. But Belle facing herself and just getting those kicks to the face of Selena.
That is where that MMA experience comes from. She knows how to get out of almost any submission hold, but Selena able to get right back on the attack. No time or motion wasted.
As now Belle, kick to the knee of Selena, gets her up into the corner now. And Belle needs to start firing back. We've seen a lot of Selena's big shots. We have not been able to say the same about Belle Florent, but she connects with that foot DDT, targeting the knee of Adams. Could be looking for the pin right off that alone. We know how much you need your legs to kick out, but Adams able to kick out regardless.
As much as you need your legs, you also need your core. And it looks like Selena Adams there had to use her core in order to push away Belle Florent. But now we're going to see it here. She loaded up in the misericord. Manages to connect. As now Belle Florent, could she be about to put away the champion?
It's that outside leg. Belle Florent. She beats Selena Adams. Belle Florent has Selena Adams' number. That's twice now she's been able to beat her. And you can call it Selena had her mind elsewhere and back from deals. You can call it if you want. But at the end of the day, Belle Florent just pinned the Nemesis Women's Champion. Wait a second, Sheila! As Belle Florent makes her way out of the ring, I was just about to say goodbye, but now Sheila attacking Selena once again, picking the bones, picking the scraps, and we see the referee pleading with Sheila to let go of the hold. As she just continues to ragdoll Selena Adams in that hold here. Adams trying to stay conscious, but we've seen this hold before, and if this is the scene at Exiled, we very well may have a new women's champion. Well, with that message in everyone's mind, that's all for Nemesis here. We will see you at Exiled. Until then, I'm Alexandra Shaw. They've been the chairman, bidding you a very farewell. Adieu.